I'm Sean. Check out ShootieSchool.com for full courses and hundreds of free Toontrack videos. Today, we're going to check out Enter Sandman, that intro beat. And man, it seems easy, but when I start talking about it, I realize there's a lot to learn here, so I thought this would be perfect for this series. And if you haven't checked out this series yet, my YouTube series, check out my We Will Rock You video, because I cover a lot of foundational stuff about working in EZDrummer's grid editor there. But let's hear Enter Sandman. Iconic intro. I mean, this song literally took Metallica from just being a worldwide metal band to the corporate behemoth that they are, and they kind of deserve it with the Black Album. I mean, hit song after hit song. And Enter Sandman was the first off the Black Album, and I've been playing this, since it came out. And even though I'm not a career drummer, I've been playing this on drums in my lap and on my drummers, drum kits at band practice since I can remember. And I thought this would be great to show you. Let's go to the hard rock EZX, since it's the same engineer that recorded the Black Album. And I'm going to go to the Toontrack preset, Great Day. And I like the kick drum on this in the snare. It's not going to sound the same as Enter Sandman. I think Enter Sandman probably has less of a room tone and more like plate reverb, as opposed to this EZX is more of an ambience room mics. But either way, killer sounds, good starting point, good enough for me to feel good when I start programming. So let's make a backbeat. We all know how to do that by now. And let's do a 4-measure phrase today, even though most of the things we do is just one measure. Let's do a 4-measure phrase. And let's create a backbeat. What's a backbeat? It's a snare on the 2 and the 4, right? So I'm going to bring this down to quarter notes so I can see the vertical lines better. Grab my pencil tool, and I'm going to leave humanization on today because this is not a complex fill. This tom riff is actually based off a backbeat, which is why we're programming it, and the humanize button really handles that well. So let's go snare on the 2 and the 4. We actually can't see the 2s and the 4s in the ruler up here. We just see the 3. It's because we're not zoomed in enough, so I'll zoom in. There we go. Now we can see them. Snare on the 2, and my cursor's floating around here because the last video I did, I turned snap off, so let me turn it back on, and let's go 2, 4. And kicks and backbeat-based beats are usually on the 1 and the 3. There's no rules, but typically that is correct. And in backbeat-based beats, there's usually an 8th note hi-hat. So I'm going to switch my resolution over to 8th notes. We've talked about this a lot in the past already, so this shouldn't be too crazy for you to understand. So here we go. What do you think? Sounds exactly the same, right? Believe it or not, we are 90% there already, even though it sounds nothing alike. Actually, let's stay on Enter Sandman for a second. One thing that's different than that backbeat is the kick drum. The kick drum is doing 4 on the floor, or the kick drum is following the pulse, or where the average musician bobs their head. Right? So that's what's different. Kick, 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 kick. So that's what's different. So let's do the easy ones first. I'm going to change my resolution to quarter note so I can easily see these vertical lines better. And I'm just going to color in 4 on the floor, which is a kick drum on every quarter note, typically where people bob their head or tap their foot when they listen to music. Now let's hear it. That's feeling stronger, it's feeling better, it's pulsing better. But why is this backbeat the same as that Enter Sandman beat? This is why. The power hand that's playing the hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that is simply there, but it's not playing the hi-hat, it's playing the tom. Quick disclaimer is there's 3 toms in this drum beat. Just select the ones you want, because I'm not thinking about tuning a toms or what tom is right. These are low tuned toms. So I'm gonna put this power hand on the lowest floor tom, even though if you watch Lars, he's probably playing it on the floor tom 1, but what are his tunings, you know? So do what you want, just pick 3 toms. Now let's hear it. We're pretty darn close, check it out. There's no snare in this beat, or if there is, it's not a backbeat snare. It's snares that accent later on. There's no snare. We're hearing no snare. But that backbeat does exist. It's just not on the snare. It's on the tom. So now let's check it out. Enter Sandman is a backbeat-based beat with 4 on the floor. Bam. It's fun. And it's hopefully you're following that lingo, because I've really been pushing the lingo all these episodes up until now, and we're going to continue to, because I want you to be able to not be like, oh, you know that part. Yeah, oh, stop, that part right there. Forget that. Be like, oh, give me a backbeat with 4 on the floor. Bam, done. See how easy it is to communicate with your producer or your drummers in the studio, bringing up a big bill. You need to talk to them quickly, get them on the right track. Give me a backbeat with 4 on the floor. Oh, take your power hand, put it on the second floor tom. You see how fast we can communicate and work? Or even when you're at home, communicating with your own brain. That's why this lingo is important. What's missing though? This is the basis of the whole beat, but there's an extra hit. Boom, 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 boom. And this is where Enter Sandman gets really cool. It's like probably one of their biggest selling songs ever, responsible for their, crazy success. But this song doesn't have huge downbeats. I don't want to analyze the entire song, so I say this loosely. If you listen to the whole song and analyze it, all the biggest hits in this song, the biggest punch in your faces, they're not on downbeats. That's nuts, because hitting hard on the downbeat is that popular recipe that sells songs, and Enter Sandman doesn't do it yet. It was a huge hit. So let's start looking at things that are not on the downbeat or not on the pulse. The kick drum is where the pulse is. And the downbeats are, the first beat in every measure. But right now, let's concentrate on what's not on the pulse. Dun, 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 right? But in your head, it's dun, 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 dun. 2 hits. When we go back over the 8th note, it's because quarter notes are on the pulse. We're trying to identify things that are off the pulse. So let's get on 8th notes. So we have the option to see vertical lines where the pulse is not. Grab my pencil tool. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, there's obviously 2 hits here, and they happen right after each other. And if you guys have been following along, 8th notes is where I like to get all my foundation programmed out at. So let me just try the next 8th note. Let's hear this. It's obviously correct. So, if your ears aren't working that, I'm going to color them in. If your ears aren't working that correctly, just get it as far as you can in this lesson and do some trial and error and just try to witness yourself while you're working instead of being so tunnel visioned. So you can kind of remember the motions you go through, because you're going to start remembering this stuff. It's going to become second nature, and you're going to be whipping out custom beats on a regular basis. And I don't even program everything I do from scratch. I like to use grooves and then manipulate those grooves. That's how I really take advantage of the difference between using prefab MIDI and program my own beats. And I feel like I get best of both worlds there. Especially when you use prefab MIDI, you're getting an actual professional drummer's humanization, as opposed to me dragging stuff around, which is a human dragging stuff around, not a human drummer, Fun stuff. Maybe a conversation for another day. And if I'm not tone deaf, I can just use my ears and understand that. These 2 hits, doot doo, doot doo. Let me solo this. I know there's a change in pitch. It goes higher to lower on those double hits. So let me just grab the arrow tool and put these up here. Or if I already had my pencil tool in hand, I could just delete in color, delete in color. Now let's see if we have the Enter Sandman intro beat. It's there, and it actually sounds good. This preset sounds really cool. This first floor tom isn't poking through enough for me, so I'm going to select its lane here. So every single dot in this lane is highlighted. I'm going to open up my velocity. I just want to push up the strength a little bit because I want to pop through a little more. Now let's see if we notice it a little more. I'm not going to max it out because I don't want to over exaggerate beyond these other tom hits. So let's see if this worked. Oh yeah. Yeah. And do I want to humanize and randomize this stuff? I don't know, because I already had the humanize button down. So, but I want to get a feel. I want to trust no one, all right? I want to see what humanize has done with maybe the micro timing and the velocity. I feel good so far with my ears, but I'm just suspicious. So I'm going to right click in a blank area, select all. Let's take a look at this stuff. The velocity looks good. Look, our pulse is cranked up every time, and that's good because you want your audience to really hang on to that pulse, right? And the in-betweens are below the pulse, and that's what starts developing a pocket that feels good, that emphasizes the pulse. Downplaying the beats that are in between the pulse emphasizes the pulse. Here, watch these lollipops while I hit play with what I just said in mind. Yeah, we're producing this pretty good. Now let's look at the timing. If I zoom in all the way, I can see that these are milliseconds off. They're not burying the vertical line. They're a little off. So the micro timing with the humanization button is working. And I actually have no problem with it, but it does sound pretty darn tight for rock and roll or commercial metal in this sense. So let me just toy with the timing for a second, expand the timing menu, do randomize a little bit, and if we glue our face to the screen, we might see things move left and right a little bit. I don't want to ruin it, but I just want to hear what it sounds like if it's looser. Now let's hear it. Let me hit undo. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to take away my randomize move because I just randomized up to 10 from 0. So that was, I don't know how to gauge it, but that was a move. Let me hit undo. We'll watch everything go back. Let me hold shift, drag a marquee around the kick drum so I exclude them from the rest of the selection. Because I want that quarter note pulse to be on. But maybe I want to randomize everything else that's layering on top of it. I just need that pulse there, solid. Now let's randomize a little bit. Now I'm just messing around doing this off the top of my head. All right, I brought it up to 12. Now let's hear it. I don't think I broke anything. If anything, I think I made it better. Let's continue the discussion just a little bit. This is done. That's Enter Sandman. That feels great. You can pick it apart a little more, produce it a little more, do whatever you got to do. That'll get you there, and that'll feel pretty good. Enter Sandman, its biggest accents are not on the downbeat, and the downbeat is the first beat of every measure. So these are all downbeats that I'm highlighting on 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are downbeats. But as you listen to the intro and as you take this further, if you wish, or produce your own music and want to do accents, you want to keep your ear out for accents that are not on the downbeat. How do you place them? How do you get them in there? And this is actually why, I mean, I've always been a fan of Metallica and their members, but now that I'm a supposedly mature musician, this is one of the reasons why I still like Lars a lot, is his cymbal accents. They're in odd places, and not from Enter Sandman. This starts in Injustice for All, probably even before. He just has odd cymbal placements, but they're memorable, and that's the key to writing music. Is it memorable or not? That's replay value, right? And it's crazy that Enter Sandman has all these accents that are not on the downbeat. So let me just point this out. So if you decide to pursue more than these 4 measures, you can continue to rock this song, because this is what you need to know. So as we listen, actually, see in the waveform right here, that's an accent, and it's not on the downbeat. Ignore the grid down here because I'm not on a grid, but listen to this bubble right here. And if you count to 4 and that comes by, you're going to notice it's not on beat 1. Here we go. Yeah, it's on the and of 4. Not that this was a quiz or anything, but it's not on the 1. It's before the 1. It's on the and of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. When you bob your head, if you bob your head like the majority of people in the world, and you see how my chin is touching my hand, when my head comes up here, that's where the accents are. So you can still bob your head through them because they're in time, and they're actually in a time where your head bobs at its top height, but it's not on the downbeat. It's really great. You've been hearing this stuff your whole life, so it's not like we're making a new discovery, but we're finally defining it. This is good. This is really good. Oops, I just deleted something instinctively. So that and of 4 accent, it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're on 8th notes, so we should see the ands, the in between the pulse lines right here. Here's the and of 4. 4, and. And here's one of the next measure, 4, and. So that snare is there. So let's get rid of the floor tom. Let's get a snare over there. And he plays a cymbal there too. And we don't have 3 hands, so let's remove that floor tom. And I don't want this video to get too long, so let me just throw out something at you, and you can just take my word for it or not. Doesn't matter to me. We have a pattern here with the toms. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. And here's this next tom, which we see throughout. Now, when you take something away from a sequence that's used to being heard, that creates suspense. And it could feel like an error unless you follow it up with a response, right? So we pull this tom out, and all we hear is this floor tom rolling. That leaves a little emptiness and suspense if the user's focused on it. And then we resolve that with an accent. And that's really what makes this snare and cymbal. I'm not even sure if there's a kick drum here or not. I feel like putting one there instinctively just to make it punch more. But we pull this extra tom out, which gives us a little like suspense because we're not hearing our pattern anymore. But it really lines up this accent. Let's check it out. And this is a heavy, heavy punch in your face accent that is not on a downbeat. I don't even recommend doing that. But as you can see, you can make that sound really good. It's fantastic. Check it out. So if you pursue this or want to do a song similar to this and you like those accents, just start popping these accents out in between the pulse. And you're going to start coming up with some really good statements. And if you know this song well, check this out. Let me select this. I'll control on PC. I'm not sure what it is on Mac. It's like Option Shift or something. And look, I just dragged these snares out in between these downbeats, right? Let me get rid of the toms. Now listen to this. You're going to if you know Enter Sandman, you're going to recognize these accents. That's on the money, except the humanization made my snare velocity garbage. So let me just turn those up. So now you could hear, if you know the song well, that you can just finish up this whole million measure long intro with all these different accents, and you just find out where they are on the in between the pulses and just start layering cymbals and snares. Maybe, let's just change this cymbal so we have a little contrast going on. Now let's hear it. I mean, this sounds close enough, or I mean, I don't even want to say good enough. This sounds badass. I'm ready to pull up my guitar and jam to it. So I hope you got something out of that today. I'm Sean from Shootie School. Check out shootieschool.com for complete courses and hundreds of free Toontrack videos. Rock on.